All right, today we've got a story that has it all. A medical mystery, a high-tech gene hunt, and a wild case of mistaken identity. It's the incredible tale of an anti-cancer fungus that, well, got a little lost at sea, and what scientists found when they uncovered its secrets.
So let's just start with the big question, the one that got this whole thing started. Could a tiny organism living deep inside a common sea sponge actually hold a powerful new weapon in the fight against cancer? I know, it sounds like something out of a movie, but this is exactly what a team of researchers wanted to find out.
So, where does this all begin? Not in some sterile high-tech lab, but in the warm, clear waters of the Mediterranean Sea.
Okay, let's meet the star of our show, a microscopic fungus with a name that's, well, a bit of a mouthful. Scopulariopsis brevicaulis. For years, scientists knew there was something special about it, but they had no idea it was hiding a secret that could literally change medicine.
This specific fungus was found living inside the tissue of an orange sea sponge. Now, it's not totally unheard of for fungi to live in sponges, but this particular partnership, it would turn out to be a really, really big deal.
So what's all the fuss about one little fungus? Well, it turns out it's basically a master chemist.
See, the fungus produces these incredible molecules called scopularides. You can think of them as the fungus's own secret weapon. And when scientists took that weapon into the lab, the results were just, wow.
These compounds were unbelievably specific and effective. They were shown to just stop the growth of some notoriously aggressive cancers. We're talking pancreatic and colon tumor cells. This wasn't some minor effect. It was a powerful, targeted anti-cancer punch. So the next question was pretty obvious.
How on earth does a tiny fungus create such a potent weapon? To find out, scientists had to crack open its instruction manual, its DNA.
And this is the critical question, right? Because it's one thing to know a fungus makes something powerful, but knowing how it makes it, that's the key. That's how you might be able to recreate that medicine in a lab and get a sustainable supply. So they launched a full-on genomic investigation.
The process was super methodical. First, they had to crack open the fungus and get its DNA. Then, using all these next-gen sequencing machines, they read every single letter of its genetic code. And finally, the digital treasure hunt began, combing through mountains of data, looking for the specific set of genes, the recipe for making scopularides.
And what they found was kind of staggering. The fungus had over 16,000 genes. For a seemingly simple little organism, that is an incredibly large and complex genetic toolkit.
This chart really shows you just how gene-rich it is. I mean, when you compare it to other really well-studied fungi like Aspergillus or Neurospora, our little sea sponge resident has thousands more genes. It's just genetically more complex than a lot of its famous relatives.
After sifting through all 16,298 genes, they found it. A beautiful, functional cluster of genes that all work together like a tiny molecular factory to produce the scopularides. This was a huge breakthrough. But as they looked closer at the rest of the genome, they found something even more surprising.
And this is where the story takes a major turn. This fungus, it wasn't what it seemed to be. Not at all.
Okay, this is where things get really strange. A fungus living in the ocean should have genes for breaking down things you find in the ocean, right? Like algae. But its DNA told a completely different story. Its genetic machinery wasn't built for the sea at all. It was perfectly designed to digest land plants, wood, and cellulose. Genetically speaking, it was a total landlubber.
And to confirm they weren't going crazy, they built its family tree. As you can see right here, all of its closest relatives are fungi that live in the soil on land. This wasn't a marine fungus that learned a few land tricks. This was a land fungus that somehow ended up in the ocean.
So how did it get there? Well, the leading theory is that fungal spores just drifted from the shore into the water, and the sea sponge acted like a perfect little net, a trap, or a shelter. It caught the fungus, which was just tough enough to adapt to the salty conditions and make a whole new home for itself.
So what does this whole incredible detective story mean for the bigger picture?
The takeaways here are pretty profound. This story shows us that life-saving discoveries can be hiding right under our noses, or, inside a sea sponge. With modern genomics, we can now uncover an organism's entire life story and literally read its hidden chemical recipes. It's a powerful reminder that our planet is this incredible, largely unexplored library, just filled with potential solutions to our biggest challenges.
And that leaves us with this final thought. If a fungus that got lost at sea holds a potential anti-cancer drug, Just imagine what else is out there, waiting in the soil, the sea, or the most unexpected corners of our world, just waiting for us to find it.